I consider all things that I hear about. But when you say consider, it means I just think about it. And I listen to everybody. I don't want white people to say what's on their minds. I mean, when they say that black people are inferior, that doesn't send me running to hide up under the covers. I say, if you think that, say it. Say what you think. Otherwise, you're a hypocrite. That's the worst thing that a person can be. And so the code calls for me to say, everybody stand up and be counted and say what they actually think. Because whatever you think, you're going to act on what you really think.
Yes, sir. Yes,
all right? Everybody does. You know, whether you let everybody know that you'll do that or not. But people act on what they're thinking about doing more than anything. Okay? So if people will reveal what they're thinking, you'll just about know what they do if they tell the truth when they're revealing that. So, therefore, and speaking of logic and religion and whatnot, religion is logic. And logic is religion. Everything has a logic to it, because what is logic? Logic is just cause and effect. So people who are members of any religious order, they believe in cause and effect. In other words, things that you do, things that you don't do. That's what cause and effect is. Things you do, things that you don't do. So that takes in religion too. Religion, logic, everything that's done is done according to some type of logic.
Mm-hmm.
By whom? By the person who is doing it.
Right.
See, that's all logic is.
Right.
Cause and effect.
Yeah.
The person who is saying that is a person of color. They can say that. That's their view. Why? Because under VGQ, a person who is a prisoner of war in the system of white supremacy, a victim of white supremacy, can say anything that he or she chooses to say about race, racism, or counter-racism. Why? Because the race problem hasn't been solved. So the way you solve any problem is for everybody to have their point of view, white and non-white. If you're going to solve a problem, and this problem that we call the race problem, everyone who has a point of view on the race problem should be able to say what that point of view is. And then out of all of that talk, at some point, when you study everybody, everything that everybody has to say, you might be able to find something out of the millions of things being said that will actually be the solution to the problem.
Okay. If
that's true of every problem.
If that's being said, then who is the real MFer?
Oh, I don't know. I can't answer that question. The people who are using the term. I don't use the term. I don't call anybody that, ever. Under any service.
But you heard it in the service. You even said that last week. That
yes, but I didn't use it.
Yeah, I didn't say that you.
Yes.
I didn't say that you used it.
When I was a sergeant, I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I didn't make what you might call in the military any kind of respectable sergeant. Because if you were any kind of respectable sergeant when I was in, you use every 4-letter word and every 8-letter word. Anything that sounded like it was profane was considered to be a part of your job. And if you didn't do that, they say that you no way can you be a sergeant in the Army. I mean, you're supposed to be extremely profane.
Okay.
And that needs to be pointed out even today, because you can lose your job. I mean, out here, if I go on, on a job as in a lumber company today, and I start walking around using the kind of language toward people that they use in what they call the honorable military service, I wouldn't last on any job. So why do they do that in the military? That's a question people can ask who are in the military. Why are you talking to me like that? Not necessary for you to talk to me like that in order to get this job done.
Did you ask that question yourself?
I asked myself that question, but I dare not ask that question to someone who could put me in the stockade, because that's exactly where they would put me.